Many times I think of sitting as actually ninja level. So in other words, a sitting meditation, even though it sometimes is portrayed as being entry level, I think it's actually very advanced. We do better when we're moving and when we have something to do. Our minds get the best of us when we just sit still. When we get to lesson 4, we're going to give you some what I think are very concrete ways to champion that. But you've already learned a very important first step, which is what you can do with your breathing. If you sit stewing, ruminating, sympathetic nervous system climbs, parasympathetic drops. That's why most of us fail out of meditation. Quite frankly, we can't stand ourselves just sitting there. And it's because we can tell that we're just moving into more sympathetic tone. If we did just the opposite and moved into more parasympathetic tone, we do a better job of hanging out. And so that's what we're going to try and do is mechanically, we're going to stack the show up correctly. And then we're going to turn the nervous system on in our behalf. So hands can rest either together or just on your lap. And incidentally, you can do this sitting on a chair, you can do it sitting on the floor in lotus position. It's whatever is comfortable for you. The trick though is, or the important thing is to have your low back be in the natural inward curve. And so a slight little bend in without the muscles in your mid back being tight. So if you'd like, just place a hand at that junction right in the back of your diaphragm, give a little wiggle. And if you can be upright, have that normal inward curve and still have a little wiggle here, you're right where you want to be. If you feel rigid there, then you may want to let go a bit. And then let's think back to the feet. So if your feet are in the lotus position, don't worry, you'll just visualize this. But if your feet are flat on the floor, do what we did in standing. That's pick your toes up, spread them wide, feel your arches engage. Then allow your toes to be relaxed. Bring that feeling of relaxed up the legs. And now as you're sitting through your pelvis, feel your footprint of your pelvis increase just a bit as you energetically drop it into whatever you're sitting on. That's your cue then to also lift the crown of your head skyward, or to allow the crown of your head to go skyward. There is a system built in your body that just allows it to float up. You're looking for that. In other words, you're not rigidly straightening up, you're just allowing it to float up. Shoulder blades come up and then rest on the back of your rib cage. You can give a little wiggle to let go of any tension between your shoulder blades. And then once you've got that, take the magic step containing the chest. Drop microscopically, just to help the tension between the shoulder blades relax. And now turn on your vagus nerve. In other words, slow the first part of the exhale just a little. When we watch people with the technology monitoring heart rate variability and monitoring CO2, the shocking realization for everybody is that the change is subtle. It's not dramatic. It is not making it incredibly slow. The trick is to be just a teeny bit slower than what your idle is. That's what does it. And now I want you to play with energy. You're in an awesome place to do that. In other words, physically, your body is not going to change form, change position. But I want you to realize that as you take a breath in, literally, you can build energy in the abdomen. And as you breathe out, you can find a more effortless version of being upright. So you take a breath in, energy gathers in the belly, and as you breathe out, you feel that lift. Again, physically, nothing has to happen. But each time you breathe out, you feel that lift. So a breath in, energy into the system, and a breath out, you find an easier way to be upright. You're literally changing electrical activity in the body and in the brain when you play this way. And we're opening the door for these reflexes that have the ability to hold us up with integrity and with efficiency to come forward. All of that translates to opening the door for the breath to really be what it needs to be, what it can be, which at this point right now is very subtle.